Welcome back, everybody, here to the Latte Home Shopping KeSPA Cup. We are about to jump into our third series of the night. It's going to be soO versus soO of KBZ. First one of the night.
Hello, Valdez.
What?
That's how the song goes, man. And you are right. San versus soO, going to be the third final match of this first half. And I think we're going through a little bit of a break before we start the second half of today. We need to have lunch. I'm starving.
Big long days of Starcraft is what everybody loves to see. This one is on Monday. The next two will be on Saturday and Sunday, so make sure you guys are checking those out as well.
It's kind of a big leap, isn't it? Like we have Monday, and then we do most of the round of 16, but then there's the last two round of 16s are on the Saturday.
Yeah, whoever's in those last two matches of the round of 16 are kind of screwed. Excuse me, because they play on Saturday and then they play on Saturday again for the round of 8 instead of these players who get Monday, and then they get the whole week to play and practice for their match on Saturday.
Doesn't really make sense in a way.
Yeah.
But it's the way things are. So we'll have to wait and see if they can make their mark. soO versus soO, though, is going to be the next one, Valdez. What's these viewpoints?
soO slumping in recent individual leagues. Very true. soO overcame the odds to advance to the main round. I didn't expect to see him here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then both players back in the KeSPA Cup after one season.
Oh, there you go. It's going to be interesting to see these players play. Haven't seen San in a while. And soO, he makes an appearance here and there. But, yeah, as it said, in the individual leagues, we just don't really see him succeed past, the initial stage. Challenger, mostly.
Yeah. He's been doing pretty well in Pro League, in fact, doing very well in the ZVZ matchup. But outside of that, not that much. Just kind of okay overall, whereas soO, as it says here, overcame the odds to advance into the main round. He got through those terrifying qualifiers and somehow made it through on the other side.
Yeah, that's true. It's good to see him again, though. He was such a successful Protoss player. Even last year or the year before, when he was overseas especially, he made his mark. But since coming back to Korea, we just haven't seen much of him. One of those players.
Yeah. Remember, he wasn't having too much luck over here when he first came back. He was having some wrist problems or maybe shoulder problems, not sure which one. Or maybe both, even like Maru. And I remember he lost a game of Dark that was kind of controversial. He didn't really look too great there. And I think that was one of the last games we ever saw him in. We really didn't see him much in many games after that at all.
Yeah. I do favor soO coming into this one, despite the match history favors of soO 4-1.
Yeah.
soO just looks much stronger in general, and he's usually doing fantastic against Protoss. Here we go. Map bans begin.
Coda is the ban. It seems like every Zerg just doesn't want to play on that map these days.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter against who, which race.
Bridgehead going to be the choice for soO there. Going to remain with that Iron Fortress in the map pool.
Yeah. That might just be pick number 1 here for soO. Yep, there it is.
That's the money right there.
soO's already flexing. He's like, I got this.
I got game 1. Dash and Terminal game 2.
First time we're going to see that tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see what soO picks. Here's game number 3. Terraform.
One of those gold map.
It didn't look too bad there for Rogue. Moonlight Madness is the pick for soO on game 4, and then Cactus Valley will be game number 5.
All right. Pretty good map lineup here. Iron Fortress, not a surprise at all. Zerg's always going to try and get that one as early as possible. Much easier map than most, though we did see Rogue go down the Classic.
Yeah.
That 2-base timing.
It was a really nicely prepared build, and Rogue was just totally tricked. You have to wonder if soO has a similar idea. soO known to be pretty aggressive as a Protoss. Not really the best macro Protoss. But anyway, let's go into this interview VCR first, and then introduce these players.
네, 안녕하세요. SK텔레콤 T1 저그 어윤수입니다. 예전에 캐스파컵 처음 올라갔을 때 좀 잘하고 싶었는데 16강에서 광탈해가지고 되게 아쉬웠는데 이번에는 시드도 받았는데 꼭 더 높이 올라가고 싶어요. 이번 그러니까 이제 올해 마지막 캐스파컵인데 꼭 우승하고 싶어요. 제가 결승에 올라가길 바라는 팬분들이 많으신 걸로 아는데 꼭 그 응원에 보답하도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 플래시 우즈 소속의 강추원입니다. 이번에 크게 기대를 안 했는데 운이 좋아서 예선을 뚫게 됐는데 본선에서도 운이 좋아서 올라왔으면 좋겠네요. 저번 시즌에 참가하지 못해서 아쉬웠는데 이번 시즌은 좀 잘해가지고 높이 올라가고 싶어요. 이번에 예선을 운 좋게 다 뚫게 되어가지고 대회가 많은데 3개 다 잘할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
캐스파컵 멤버들 보니까 막 그렇게 딱히 위협적인 선수가 별로 없더라고요. 그래서 누가 됐든 제가 무난하게 이길 것 같아요.
제가 도발 당하면 다닐지 제가 도발 선수는 없는 것 같아가지고 좀 조용히 가야 될 것 같아요.
So, nice little Korean VCR there for you guys. Soo saying he was pretty confident, and in fact, he also said that he doesn't feel like there are any specific really strong players here, which I think is just him talking trash because we have both Maru and Dream here. We also have Byul and Hero and many others.
And Classic and a lot of other players that have probably beaten Soo recently.
Yeah,
so
interesting that he would say that.
But it's always good to have confidence there. And Soo, he did make Fortune Grand Finals last year. He is a fantastic player. But not the same player this year. Not after his big break.
Yeah. Still got a little leftover confidence regardless. Looking pretty focused here in the booth. Wearing his pearls again.
Yeah. Hey man. Gotta look good, gotta feel good. First step to winning right there.
Yep. Look good, feel good, play good. Very wise man once said that to me one time.
Who said that to you?
Oh, just one of my friends back when I was like 16.
Well, here's San. And he also qualified for Star League, defeating Sky High, Blast, Hyun, and Hyun. Wise. KeSPA Cup qualify, he made it through Bong Bong, Ryung, Super, and Armani. Not the hardest of groups both times.
That's very interesting he makes it through there. He was actually saying in his interview that was on Korean that he feels like he got very lucky to make it this far, and after seeing that bracket, there were definitely harder opponents he could have faced along the way.
Super was really the only hard player there.
And we also don't even know where he's at these days. Super kind of all over the place at times.
Yeah.
And taking a 2-0 in a PvP against Super, it's like,
Well, he only just recently joined his KeSPA team, so I'm sure he's going through a lot of changes right now as well.
Exactly. Well, guys, we're about to jump into game number 1 here. The map is going to be Iron Fortress, the pick of Soo. Let's jump into it right now and see who will take the first game.
SK텔레콤 T1 수 어연수 vs 요이 플래시 울브즈산 강초원.
Down here in the bottom left in the purple, our Zerg player from SK Telecom T1. It is Soo.
And in the top left, you have his challenger, San. Unexpectedly, very aggressive Protoss.
Yeah, this is like his map, in fact. I don't even know if he's planning on taking a third base in the series.
Yeah, I would be surprised, especially on this map. If he tried for a third at all, he's definitely the type of Protoss player that does 2 bases on most maps, and if he's forced to do it especially, I'm sure he has no problem doing so.
Yeah.
He also has like a bit of a different flavor sort of Protoss. We aren't going to see that normal sort of pylon on the ramp or forge fast expand. We start to see these interesting sort of styles with like pylon behind the minerals in the main, maybe a gateway there to a later nexus. more of a earlier tech sort of build, more aggressive. Let's see exactly when he's going to throw that out.
Yeah, very curious to see how San's going to play. I'm glad you point that out because he's not your typical Protoss. He's not like all these other KeSPA Protosses who kind of, just follow the same lines. Whatever's like working, what's the meta right now for Protoss. This is kind of just like San playing his own game. And yeah, like we said, these aggressive maps for Protoss are going to be more of his bread and butter.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him chrono boost out like a couple of Stalkers and start really applying the pressure early on. It's going to be up to soO to be aware of this and be a little bit more defensive than maybe he wants to be.
Yeah.
We do know he loves to be so greedy if he can, but looks like we're actually going to see, I like this, earlier gas. So he's going to go for quick Zergling speed behind it.
Where San just goes for the gateway nexus. No gas just yet.
Yeah.
Gonna set up that pylon wall, or not pylon wall, just the wall there a bit later. Afterwards, of course, that gateway and first pylon not part of the wall. Here comes the first scout. He did scout the direction of the Overlord, so he knows exactly where soO is already.
So I wonder what San's plan is for this game. No Zealot queued up just yet or anything like that. Just chrono boosting out as hard as he can after making 2 gases.
Wasn't San one of the Protosses that kind of made that like 6-7 gate +1 all-in build really popular?
He certainly did it a lot. Yeah, that's for sure. He was one of those Protosses that played in Europe that was very aggressive. One of these Korean Protosses. Stardust being the other one. And yeah, he does like his cheese.
What do you think about these 8 Zerglings coming out for soO?
I like it. He's going to be able to apply the pressure and also remove this probe from the map. Something that's very important. He sees it right now. I'm sure he's going to at least have 1 Link chase it.
Yeah.
There we go.
In fact, he's even going to hide the rest for now.
Yeah, well, it's so important.
Look at that. I mean, there's no wall set up. Maybe he identified that and he's like, oh, I can sneak some Lings in.
It's going to be 1 Zealot and a Mothership, so it should be enough to deal with it, but it's still going to maybe force out a wall earlier than he'd want to, and yeah, it's going to be a second pylon. And Link speed is well on the way as well. It's half done. If he can survive long enough in the main base, he's going to be able to cause some real trouble.
Yeah. This is just going to be so annoying for San. He's going to lose a lot of gas mining, even these minerals over here. And just this added Link pressure going to put a small dent into the build of San. Nothing gigantic, but
yeah. Stalker out now as well. And now full block off, so Link's aren't escaping anytime soon. Speed about to finish though, so maybe he can get a couple of probes.
Yeah, I think that's the idea here. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gonna go for the main now. That finish speed. Maybe catch a sentry even.
Oh.
But he does have that force field, so probably would be hard. Gets another probe, maybe a third one. Oh! Gets it.
Nice. It's actually really nice harassment.
Yeah, that's actually pretty huge. He forces out that wall a little bit earlier.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Should not have got that one.
Yeah.
That was against the rules. That was
against the rules.
That's not okay. San shouldn't have lost that, but
yep. The international rules of war here in StarCraft, that was not allowed, in fact.
By the
soO, that was way too brutal.
Looking at Chapter 5, Section 3.2,
yeah,
mineral walking through a Zealot is okay.
Saving your probes and not feeding them to the Zerglings on the outside is
highly encouraged, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely allowed, at least.
We did see an early Evo go down, so I think we might see some early Ling upgrades when the gas becomes apparent. And a saturated third base is on the way. So soO's in a great place right now, doing some unexpected damage. Let's see if he can hold off this Stargate harassment.
Yeah, it's just going to be 3-gate Forge Stargate here from San. But I don't know. It looks like he's going to do the classic version where he saves one of his oracles in the main, waits for 2, and then goes together.
Yeah, it seems to be a more common sort of strategy this time around these days. Zergs are usually expecting it, and if they're not sure, they'll throw down some safety spores and... Oh, look at that.
Oh, what?
Poetry.
Okay, San, okay.
Now, this is interesting. I'd love to see some Sky Toss. That'd be great. If he just keeps going with voids and just goes into a very defensive sort of third base.
That'd be pretty cool.
Ling's actually going to stop it in its tracks, though.
Gonna even take out the Zealot over here, kill the probe as well.
Maybe he would want to use that Oracle for defensive purposes instead of aggression, but let's see how many kills he can get with it.
No Spore, just
No
one
Spore.
Queen.
He should micro his turns. He's going to lose a lot of them.
Yeah. With only one Queen here, it's not enough damage to actually force the Oracle out. So usually you can get like 8 to 10 kills.
Yeah, that is a lot of kills. Big scout off in the main base with his Overseer. Sees the amount of gateways, and soO knows that he just has to make units now.
Yeah.
He knows that third base is never going up.
He is up to 55 drones on 3 bases. He's had it for quite a while, so his economy is quite nice. He does make 5 extra drones, though.
Yeah, he wants to fully saturate it out, but he is making the units he needs to right now, which is the important thing. 7 Hydras on the way. No
So-
Bridge Warren.
No more probes being made, but he is going for that Nexus, or I thought he was. It looks like he's not going to do it just yet.
Yeah, I think he's just faking it from here. He is making another Void Ray as well.
But at this point, like, soO did see everything pretty much. Like,
Yeah. It's a Void
I
Ray
don't know.
gateway all in. I mean, soO's just going to keep poking, make sure he knows exactly what's going on. The third is going up, but I feel like it should be an empty considering how late it is. I think Sun has really run out of time.
yeah. I think he's just kind of stuck in his build. soO's just been playing with him too much.
soO can actually just start to really apply the pressure. He's got Hydras coming up the map. Range and +1's about to finish as well. So many more Lings on the way.
Some Lings get through even. A very late couple of force fields.
Not the best position for soO either, mind you. He's going to trade out a lot of force fields and maybe a few units, but not getting the damage he wanted to. More Lings coming in.
Still not much to tank for these Hydras in the bag.
Oh, focusing down the mothership. Very close, 30 HP. And this was a kind of an ugly attack, Valdez.
Yeah. I think that was just soO saying, I'm so far ahead, I just need to kill this guy. But it was like,
Well, soO actually invested so much into an army and a late third base that it kind of works out, though it really seems a very inefficient way to go about it. You know, like it looked like he was gearing up for an attack, making this many Void Rays behind all these gateways and gateway units, then getting the third base because it got delayed the first time. It seemed, from our point of view, that because it got cancelled the first time, or it just simply didn't get to put down because of Lings, that he was going to follow up with an all-in. Worked out for that attack, that's for sure, but there's going to be a pretty scary follow-up, which is going to be those Viper, Hydra, Ling timings.
yeah.
And Roaches.
Vipers can just pluck the Void Rays out of the sky as we go a little bit later on if they want to. But also, of course, Blinding Clouds on a bunch of the Stalkers with Blink will be very nice.
Yeah. It's kind of the problem, though, for Sand is that he did invest in these units that are so gas-heavy that his tech is coming out that much later. It should all be done by the time Vipers come out and the attack begins, but he's not going to have Storm, that's for sure. He's going to simply have Blink, Stalker, Sentry.
And 3 Void Rays.
And 3 Void Rays, which are probably the last thing you want against this composition.
Yeah. This is very awkward Void Rays. Really, you know, they did help out a bit with defending the attack, of course, but at the same time, just not really doing much. I guess they'll be okay against the Roaches.
Yeah, it's a bigger army being walked in here. It's a pretty hard map to defend a third on because it is so far out there and it's such a big choke point in between.
Yeah, there's even a back door, so it's very hard to really wall off that third base much. You just got to add a couple extra cannons. And here we go. soO moving across the map.
Yeah, he sees the army composition, he knows exactly what he's up against. +2 just finishing up for San. Just waiting for these Vipers to get their energy and come across the map.
Yeah, I think he should just wait for the Vipers and the +2 for himself, and then just go for the attack.
Yeah, he's only sitting at 1 Viper for now. He's going to have maybe 1 Blinding Cloud. Going to force out a bunch of force fields.
He's just going to force it here right before his +2 finishes.
Nice blinding, but he's got to be careful not to go too far forward. A lot of his army is still blocked up from these force fields.
Yeah, I'm taking a bit of damage, in fact.
It isn't the scariest amount of sentries either, mind you. We only see 5 sentries with this army.
Yeah.
And that could be a big problem as well. Because usually you want a lot of sentries to deal with Hydras in general. Guardian Shield as well as good force field zone half the army out and reduce the damage quite by a lot.
Maybe that was just him just going in there and forcing out a bunch of force fields and backing off, because he's got such a great economy behind this anyway, and he did want to go into, you know, finishing his own +2 and then getting his own +3.
Yeah. Well, this is actually the best time to force those, to force out force fields when the sentry count is pretty low compared to a lot of other Protoss players. And once again, nice engagement.
3 force fields come out, and that's it. More blinding clouds coming down. Prismatic alignment for these Void Rays, but they're attacking Hydras here. And just a great concave from both of these players, actually.
Yeah, eventually Stan will clean it up, but he did lose a big chunk of his army. He did lose all the sentries except one, which is out of energy.
Yeah.
Supply advantage still heavily in favor of soO.
Yeah. And now all he's got is Blink Stalkers. It's kind of the position that Classic was in game number 2 against Rogue, except he doesn't have any Immortals coming out, no Archons, no Templar Archives, none of that essential tech that Classic had to somehow like stay in the game longer. All he's got is these Blink Stalkers, and the next attack here from soO is going to be deadly.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to fight Master Roach Hydra Viper with pure Blink Stalker, nothing else. I don't think that's actually a thing. But we'll see.
Well,
I mean, Blink Stalkers are great, but at this point of the game, you probably want Templars to help out at the very least, either to storm to split the army up or to feedback. And here we go. Nice initial engagement here. soO's army kind of split up.
Yeah, but now here he comes. Blinding Cloud's going to come down, going to force that army back, taking a lot of damage as he does move back. More Blinding Clouds coming down, forcing a big move back. But still trading decently well, you know.
Yeah, they want to be fighting under that Blinding Cloud. Do actually, army's getting a little thin, but still on creep. Still a lot of roaches coming up.
More Blinding Clouds here, and soO just having so much stuff to deal with this. You can only blink so many times.
Yeah, he's running out. Soldiers at this point. Still a nice army. GG. Well done. soO playing a solid game. Game 1.
Yep. Kind of what we expected from that one. Kind of, well, I don't know. I did expect soO to be a bit more aggressive than he was in that game, but I also feel like he was kind of indecisive with exactly what he wanted to do. Like, he had all the buildings he could have possibly gone in, but he was like making Void Rays, oddly enough. Maybe to try to defend the third base better, but the third base was so late, and soO was just like totally fine back there. And he never got the necessary tech. He never just like sat back